Hi, this is Barry Schwartz from the Search Engine Roundtable. This is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is New Year's Eve, December 31st, Friday, and I wanted to wish everybody a happy New Year's, safe and happy, healthy, and a successful 2011. I wanted to go through the various topics that we discussed over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable, and I'm going to start with the most interesting that I felt was the most interesting was that Matt Cutts over the weekend, last weekend, tweeted that he will be, or the Google spam team will be looking more closely at cloaking methods. He tweeted, and I'll quote, "Google will more at cloaking in Q1 2011. Not just page content matters, avoid different headers / redirects to Googlebot instead of users." Again, a tweet is a maximum 140 characters. That being said, Matt Cutts could only say so much in a tweet. Now what the problem is a lot of people are actually complaining that they don't fully understand what Matt is talking about here. So obviously you can look into this as much as you want. The bottom line is, if you're doing some forms of cloaking on purpose or by accident, Google will take a look at it more closely, and that means that Google will possibly, remove that site from the index. So just be careful. Make sure you're not cloaking too much, or you're not doing things that might be deceptive, either on purpose or not. And if you don't know, have your webmaster take a look at this, read about what cloaking is all about, and look at the Google guidelines to make sure you're okay. But it's not just about content differing; it's also about the actual things behind the scenes that users won't see. If you're cloaking that stuff, that might be an issue. Yes, and as I think it's Bronco said in the forum, in the chat room over there, as if that is the worst problems they have. Yes, they know they have other problems, but that's one of the main other things that they're going to be looking at. And I guess maybe that is what's causing some of their problems. Maybe not. I don't know. Google knows best, I would think. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Okay, so next thing is stars in AdWords site links. Google allows you, obviously Google has site links, and I'll bring up on my screen a screenshot of this. But Google AdWords also added site links a little while back. And if you can see my screen over here in the middle, I don't know if you can see that, but basically if you do a search for Regus, which is basically a temporary office solution, solution where if you want to rent an office for a day or for a week or for a month, you can do that from Regus. And if you do a search for Regus, up comes these site links in the AdWords results. Those site links actually have these HTML entities, which are basically stars in them, which try to bring them out more than normal site links. Obviously, site links themselves are fairly more prominent than your normal AdWords listing or a normal Google search result, but by adding these stars or HTML entities to kind of bring them out will actually make for a better or more visible ad. So you definitely want to take a look at this. Right now, Google is not blocking you from doing it, and I got to give props to Darren Ward for actually spotting this and sending this over my way. Google has allowed site HTML entities in the organic listings and AdWords listings in the past, but they removed them after people started to use them more and more. I assume Google will remove them from the site links eventually, so definitely want to capitalize that on sooner than later. I spotted a thread about 5 months ago where somebody was complaining that their site has been penalized in Google. Google actually replied to that person, surprisingly saying, "It's not your fault, it's our fault. We had a misclassification considering your site I think they consider this guy's site a park domain. So they misclassified this guy's site plus other sites, a very limited number of sites, as park domain sites, which also obviously resulted in the site dropping in the rankings in Google. Google said they'll fix it. There's nothing you can do about it. We will fix it. Google will fix it." The guy came back in, said Google did not fix it until late October, November, his time, which basically was 5 months after the guy reported it and was told by Google that they will fix it. Honestly, that's a little bit scary that a Google bug could knock you out of the search index, not for a couple weeks, for a couple months, but for literally almost half a year, which could be dramatically horrible for certain sites. Obviously, this site was specifically a blog, a personal blog, so it didn't really matter that much. But if it was your main bread and butter site, then obviously that would cause major issues for your business and for your livelihood. So just keep that in mind. If you want more information about that, December 27th at scroundtable.com. Okay, next thing is As of tomorrow, will be changing their AdWords support for their agency support, which is pretty much Google's giving representatives to large AdWords advertisers, giving them one-on-one support with certain reps from Google, and making those advertisers' life a little bit easier. Google announced, I think it was about a month or two ago, that they will be making these support level changes to AdWords agencies, to AdWords customers. And we haven't seen much about it since then, but now it came up again that it's going to actually happen January 1st, and I found the thread of Webmaster World talking about it. The thread actually has one person who said it actually switched over to a new vertical rep for his clients, and he's saying he actually likes it better. These vertical reps are able to better specialize in his specific client's needs, and he's getting better support than he did in the past, and they seem very knowledgeable and responsive, according to one of the AdWords advertisers. He says it's far superior than what he got from Microsoft or Yahoo, so he's pretty happy overall. This is the first feedback we got about these new changes, and I'm sure we'll hear more, of course, of the next couple months or so. Bleco, which is that new Google killer search engine, which is going to kill Google in about 5 days. No, I'm just joking. Bleco is a new search engine. We discussed about it several months ago. But it came to light that Bleco has a new feature that if you do a search for a domain in Bleco, if that domain is carrying AdSense ads, Bleco will add an AdSense link, which actually lets you click on the AdSense link, and then it will take you to pretty much a search for that AdSense ID. And that search for that AdSense ID will then show you all the sites using that AdSense ID throughout the one second, allow links. Bleco will then show you basically all the sites carrying the same AdSense ID. As you know, AdSense publishers have to produce and copy and paste their code into their website, and their code on their website contains their unique publisher ID. Using Bleco, you can actually quickly find all the sites using the publisher ID on their site. Obviously, that includes scraper sites and other sites that are using it without permission. But at the same time, it also will not every single publisher will contain the same publisher ID for all their sites. A lot of people make separate AdSense accounts just to mask things, obviously. So it should obviously be known that you should be aware of this. It's not something new per se, but it's something that's out there. We have a thread about this yesterday at the SEOroundtable.com. Just a new feature, not really a new feature, but AdSense is now sending out more notifications about their AdSense payments. So if you're an AdSense publisher, Google might send you a notification via email saying they sent out a payment. This is something that's going on since March, but it seems to have spiked up recently. I personally never got an email response from Google saying they sent a payment, but definitely people are seeing this, and it's not phishing, it's not spam, it's real, it's legit. A thing about PageRank, it seems like PageRank, the algorithm, the original patent algorithm, will remove it, or will no longer have its exclusivity. Basically, in the end of 2011, the PageRank patent as it is will become a non-exclusive patent. It is a patent at least until, I believe, 2017, but it will be non-exclusive as of the end of 2011. Google has a whole document in 2009 describing what competitive issues that might cause. If you're interested about that, December 30th at SEOroundtable.com. I wrote about a post about how Google treats mobile sites. There's pretty much two different mobile sites. There's the mobile site that works well on a Android phone, one of these, as well as an iPhone or a Palm OS device. And there's the mobile sites that work well on those old-fashioned phones, like those old-fashioned Nokias or whatever, that have those fake internet browsers that really don't render real websites. Google says a mobile site, in their terms, is not the ones that render on the smartphones like iPhones or Android devices. They are the ones that render on the old-fashioned Nokia phones that have internet access. For those sites, you want to definitely create a mobile sitemap, submitting your URLs to Google, via the mobile sitemap method. I have a whole post about this because the BBC UK wants to go ahead and create one URL for both their mobile and their desktop orientation website, but they don't want to create a duplicate content issue. That being said, Google's John Moo went discussed this in detail with BBC UK to tell them what to do, and there's a pretty nice thread over there. So if you're interested in doing mobile SEO, mobile websites, you definitely want to take a look at this, December 27th at SEOroundtable.com. Almost done here. A couple more topics to go. The next topic is about an AdSense publisher who pretty much got greedy. It was actually featured on TechMeme. A lot of people are discussing it. It was published by on the Duckswork magazine site. Basically, an AdSense publisher who was making lots and lots of money on AdSense went ahead and pretty much convinced his users to click on his ads. But what he said was, he pretty much said, what he said, 2 days before Christmas, he was banned from Google. He his check for $1,700 or UK dollars was stopped. He totally lost about $3,700 as well from past finances, and he's really, really upset, obviously, because he lost all his money. But at the same time, he didn't really rules. He was basically saying there was rules, he didn't really realize them, whatever, and he's blaming Google for not being more explicit about that. Honestly, if you take a look at this Webmaster Role thread that I'm referencing, as well as what he wrote, I honestly believe it's his fault. Sorry, pounds. Yeah, it's pounds, not dollars, which is a lot more. So a check for £1,700 is about $2,700 US, which is a major difference. So it's a lot of money that he's lost. At the same time, I totally feel that it's this guy's fault. He can't blame Google on this one. I'm not always pro Google, but in this case, this guy really tried to cheat Google. He got greedy, and it went back to burn him. He could go back, and I'm sure he'll be included. He just has to change things the way he has to change his ways, and I'm sure he'll get back in, and it won't be a problem. Talking about money, Google donated about $20 million to charity on behalf of you and I, AdSense publishers and AdWords advertisers. All that money that we bring to Google and all those searchers that click on their ads resulted in Google donating $20 million to charities in 2010. They did the same thing last year, $20 million to charities as well. There's a thank you page at google.com/landing/thank-you/2010. Some of those charities include the APC, Connecting Up, Global Strategies for HIV Prevention, LASA, UNICEF, and a bunch of other organizations. You can take a look at that. We have more information at SEOroundtable.com on December 28th. 2 more topics and we're out of here. I wrote a blog post pretty much because after I found this, I'm running this conference in Israel called SpinCon. It's actually a week from Sunday. We have a great attendance and I'm very happy. If you're in Israel, definitely sign up. It's called SpinCon. Just do a search of SpinCon. Anyway, I found a thread at a Hebrew forum called seoforums.co.il, which was discussing why certain people don't go to SEO conferences and events. And they're basically saying they never learned anything from it. It's a waste of time. But the honest truth is I've been to probably close to 100 SEO conferences in my life. Every time I go, and obviously I know a lot about SEO. I cover it several times a day. I build websites. I do this and that. I always take something away from that. And even if you don't, what SEO conferences do to me and to a lot of other people who are well known and to people who really know their SEO is it makes them sit back, think a little bit instead of it gets them out of their daily grind, just doing things all day. It pulls them back. They sit back. They listen to other people. They hear things, and they basically sit back and really learn about and think about what they're doing. So that's one thing. And the other thing, really, which I feel is important, not just in America but in other countries like Israel, is to bring the industry together, the SEO industry together. Bring a actual event to the country and say, hey, we're not black hat evil people who do black magic or whatever. SEO is a real industry. We do marketing, we conversion rates, we do web development, we do all this types of stuff that is a real business, and this proves it. We have an SEO event with hundreds of people coming to this. Really, we have almost 300. We have over 300 people so far. And it shows that it's a real industry. So bringing the industry together, and if you're part of that industry, coming and being part of that industry makes and kind of seals the legitimacy of the actual industry. All right, I wrote about that December 30th. That was my rant. And finally, it is New Year's, and I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's. Google, Yahoo, and all the search engines have their special logos. I'll take you through that on my screen now, and then we'll pretty much wrap up. As you can see in the background, the Search Engine Roundtable has a nice theme going on. But Google has their logo. Yahoo has their animated logo, Happy New Year's logo. Bing has a nice theme, so does Ask.com, Baidu. So go create a site, forums, and the Search Engine Roundtable. So that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year's. Be safe, happy, and have a successful 2011. Thank you very much for listening. Today is December 31st, Friday, New Year's Eve. Everyone have a great weekend and Happy New Year's. Bye.